Hello, scientists. Welcome to FlowSpace 101 Science Flow. Today's lesson is called Motion, Speed, and Velocity. We will learn how scientists describe movement. We will think about how objects move, how fast they move, and how direction changes meaning. Our big question is, how can we describe motion? Let's begin. Today, we will follow 6 steps. First, we will observe motion. Next, we will learn key vocabulary. Then we will read a science text. After that, we will compare speed and velocity. Then we will solve a science problem. Finally, we will explain our thinking. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to describe motion like a young scientist. Look carefully at the 2 pictures. In the first picture, the marble is not moving. In the second picture, the marble is moving. Which object is moving? How do you know? What changed? The answer is the marble is moving because its position changed. When an object changes its position, we can say that it is moving. So, what is motion? Motion is a change in an object's position. Let's look at the example. A marble was at the top of the tube. Then it rolled to the bottom. Did its color change? No. Did its location change? Yes. That means the marble was in motion. So remember, motion happens when position changes. Now let's learn 2 important words, position and reference point. Position is the location of an object. A reference point is something we use to describe an object's position. Look at the examples. The bag is under the desk. The bicycle is next to the tree. The train is east of the station. We use other objects to help describe location. Let's practice this speaking pattern. The is above, below, beside, or behind the. Next, let's learn about distance. Distance tells us how far apart 2 places or objects are. Look at the examples. A ball moved 5 meters. A train traveled 100 kilometers. My school is 2 kilometers from my home. Distance helps us measure movement. Now think about this. Which object traveled the greatest distance? Yes, the train traveled the greatest distance. Now let's talk about speed. Speed is the distance an object moves in an amount of time. We can write it like this. Speed, distance, time. Here is an example. A cyclist traveled 20 kilometers in 1 hour. So the cyclist's speed was 20 kilometers per hour or 20 kilometers an hour. Speed tells us how fast something moves. It does not tell us direction. It only tells us how much distance an object covers over time. Let's compare speeds. The elephant moves at about 25 kilometers per hour. The horse moves at about 70 kilometers per hour. The cheetah moves at about 112 kilometers per hour. Which animal is the fastest? The cheetah is the fastest. Which animal covers more distance in the same amount of time? Again, the cheetah does. Let's use the speaking sentence. The cheetah is faster than the horse. Now let's solve a speed problem. Listen carefully. Mia rode her bicycle 30 kilometers in 2 hours. What was her speed? First, use the formula. Speed, distance, time. So we calculate 30 do 15. That means Mia's speed was 15 kilometers per hour. Great job. When you know the distance and the time, you can calculate speed. Now we will compare speed and velocity. Speed tells how fast an object moves. Example. The train moved at 300 kilometers per hour, but velocity tells how fast an object moves and the direction it moves. Example, the train moved east at 300 kilometers per hour. So what is the difference? Velocity, speed, direction. That means velocity gives us more information than speed. Let's look at this example. A runner moved north at 20 kilometers per hour. Then she turned west at the same speed. Did her speed change? No. Her speed stayed the same. Did her velocity change? Yes. Why? Because velocity includes direction. When the direction changed from north to west, the velocity changed too. So remember, velocity changes when speed changes or direction changes. Now it's time for a quick reading check. Pause and answer aloud if you want. Question 1, what is motion? Motion is a change in an object's position. Question 2, what is a reference point? A reference point is something we use to describe an object's position. Question 3, how do we calculate speed? We calculate speed by dividing distance by time. Question 4, what is the difference between speed and velocity? Speed tells how fast an object moves. Velocity tells how fast it moves and the direction it moves. Now let's do some critical thinking. Here is the question. A car traveled in a circle at the same speed. Did its velocity change? Why? The answer is yes, its velocity changed because its direction was constantly changing. Even if the speed stayed the same, the direction changed again and again. And since velocity includes direction, the velocity changed too. Now try to explain it in one full sentence by yourself. Great job, scientists! Today we learned three important ideas. Motion is a change in position. Speed is distance divided by time. Velocity is speed plus direction. You did an amazing job learning about motion, speed, and velocity. If you enjoyed this lesson, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you for learning with Flow Space 101. See you in the next Science Flow lesson. Bye, scientists.